Anyway, let's jump in game. We
do it.
can make our predictions there. Since obviously we are going to make predictions as we always do. Ben, oops, sorry guys, let me turn on the game sounds for you. Well, last game I thought I went for the safe pick as well, but I'm gonna go for it once more. I have faith in my European brother. MaNa used to be known for having a very weak PVZ, but he worked so hard on it for a long time, and it really looks so much better nowadays. So I think MaNa's gonna take it.
He played one of the best PVZs I've ever seen against Stefano at Assembly. Still lost, but it was incredibly epic. It was like a 48-minute macro game, and it's about as close as I've seen any non-Korean Protoss to beating Stefano in recent memory, just quite frankly. You know, I talked to him a lot at that tournament, watched him practice a lot of PVZ, and he looks damn good. It was also the first time I saw him use the range upgrade on Phoenixes. Afterwards, he turned around promptly and said, "That upgrade sucks."
MaNa is so cool, man. Comes out of the Starcraft II family. His brother plays a lot of Starcraft as well. Used to be on Team Fnatic. Funky is his nickname for the Europeans who are watching at this ungodly hour, probably. A very good Terran player, and he's also a breakdancer, so he can stand on his head and spin around circles. It's very impressive.
We should invite him for a show match just for that.
Wow, maybe we can have Funky versus MaNa.
Oh, brotherly love. I think Poland would like that one.
Yeah, Poland would love it.
Hey, shout out to Poland. If anybody is watching from Poland, you guys have one of the most enthusiastic, passionate groups of Starcraft fans in the world.
Yeah, I agree. Someone came up to me, like I was recently at IPO, and they had a very cool crowd as well. And then one of the fans came up to me, he's like, "Hey man, don't you think American fans are the best fans in the world?"
Nope.
I said, well, they are really good. I mean, there was an awesome atmosphere. Ooh, MaNa missing the pylon over here. The hatch, that's a little bit sloppy by MaNa. I said, well, these fans are awesome, but I said, I've been to a lot of tournaments, so it's hard to say that this is the best in the world. He's like, what other thing do you really remember that stands out? And I said, well, the European Blizzard Invitational in Poland. I said, that was insane. The way that they were like cheering the other guys up, and that Red wasn't coming out until they like shouted his name loud enough. 1,000 people or something standing up, clapping, Red.
It was awesome. One of my favorite tournaments. One of the best atmospheres I can ever remember.
I was so jelly, man. On that moment, I really wish I was Red. I would feel so good.
Yeah. I mean, American fans are great.
Yeah, they are.
I can remember many MLGs where I was like literally emotionally moved by the fan support. But wow, 357 third base. But yeah, Poland,
there are many
Poland's
great
just kind of on another level. I really think Polish fans are the best. No offense to fans anywhere else. Brazilian fans were awesome too, but Poland wins the prize.
I agree. Very interesting placement over here for this first gateway of Nama. No, please do not go in there. The Nama MaNa. But yeah, interesting placement by MaNa over here.
Now I'm going to be off all day. Yeah, it's a cute little wall off. I think he's probably going to maybe put his cyber core in front of that cannon, because that's a bit flimsy.
I'm surprised that he didn't try to just wall off over here. This is like not impossible to wall off, I'd say.
That's a good point. One thing that that kind of bothers me with wall offs like this is it's very susceptible to banelings, because banelings just kind of waddle through there. You can't really attack them because then they blow up your probes, and then lings just stream in and kill your main base.
Maybe MaNa has a plan though. Maybe his wall's not finished yet, and he's gonna try to do something over here. But yeah, I don't like the placement of this gate. I'm just gonna say it.
And maybe MaNa knows. Does MaNa know that that ViBE is gasless? If he might, because here we are at 35 supply. ViBE still has no gas, which means he's not going to be doing a baneling bust. And the other thing is, usually you do a baneling bust off a 2 base, not off a 3. So maybe that makes MaNa.
He never got the confirmation that the hatch is up over here though. He probably saw the drone leaving with his probe early on.
All right.
Pylon up right now for MaNa. MaNa is getting a pretty quick +1 over here on his forge. Chrono boosting warp gate technology as well. I think he's going to get at least a few more gates, probably 3. I think he's going for a little bit of 4 gate pressure off 2 base.
Yep, that's what it looks like to me too. Of course, the real key there is getting a pylon down. We saw in one of our games yesterday. What was that last game? Demaga versus Hasu.
Hasu versus Dima on Daybreak.
Yeah, Hasu tried to get that 4 gate pressure going on Daybreak, and Demaga expertly denied that pylon.
It's so important. If you are playing as a strategy like this against Zerg, it's so super important that you snipe that probe. Because not only do you snipe that probe, you also snipe the few units that are actually on the map. We saw Dima picking up that probe. Then also 2 Stalkers, 3 Zealots. Takes out all the real juice out of that push.
But critically, ViBE is he doesn't see this probe coming out. This could be a big mistake. The probe's about to walk under Zerg. Oh wow, that's so unfortunate. Lol.
But I mean, it's good for ViBE. He knows it. Ooh, ViBE, you have to get an Overlord. ViBE is supply block, Ben. He's still not starting an Overlord. He might actually end up losing this Overlord as well.
Pylon goes down, and there's a Stalker there to protect it. I don't think ViBE can deny this.
ViBE is still not building Overlords, man. Just now he's starting.
Oh, come on, ViBE. this is, he's only building one Overlord. This is going to make 4 roaches. Yeah, so I think it looks like MaNa's probably going to lose this one pylon, maybe. But there's the warp in.
He's not even going to want to lose this pylon.
Okay, so this is a little bit, this is starting to get a little bit scary, basically. Because these zealots they represent a real threat to this third base. There's a couple of spine crawlers there, so that's pretty good for ViBE. But MaNa has definitely forced a reaction out of our Zerg player.
Yeah, but I mean, MaNa, there are so many ways that MaNa could potentially attack or just be annoying for ViBE. ViBE is making more Overlords right now, as you pointed out very wisely, Ben. One Overlord was just not enough. Sure, these spine crawlers are pretty cute, but he's still making this so hard on himself. Yeah,
Stalker's doing a good job of just being annoying, picking away at that hatchery. There's no Zergling speed. I mean, speed's about halfway done.
He's going to lose that Overlord as well. He does make 7 roaches now at once, though, and those 7 roaches should be enough. MaNa should wipe into more units.
Yeah, what is he doing? Okay, there's another warp in. A lot of these lings will go down. Roaches about
pick up those Overlords.
Once these roaches pop out, it's probably going to be fine. About 14 roaches in the production tab. So finally, with the supply, ViBE able to do some work. Those roaches do pop out. MaNa has to be careful about how he engages it.
Yeah, ViBE as well, though. He cannot afford to lose roaches one by one. He still has 7 roaches on the way. Blink is on the way for MaNa, so MaNa definitely doesn't want to end up losing Stalkers. But that shouldn't be the case. And actually, it starts getting tricky for ViBE. ViBE is going to have to save this hatch right now.
Hatchery's taking a lot of damage, and ViBE just doesn't quite have enough to engage it, especially with his lings having been all picked off. He's only got 3 Zerglings out. Makes those roaches a lot less effective.
Now the real roaches finally come in. A couple of Zerglings stream out as well, so this should be enough to at least keep the hatch alive. But Blink is more than halfway down. Oh, very nice micro here by MaNa. Look at the... actually...
Hatch not down yet, and with these lings out, 32 Zerglings, it's going to make it very difficult for MaNa to continue with this aggression, even with Blink.
Very cute Overlord scout over here by ViBE. Not sure... Yeah, he does see the Twilight console, so I hope he's watching.
And MaNa's still just working off 4 gates.
Yeah, interesting.
He needs to start setting up a transition.
ViBE doesn't have any high ground vision. Be careful with those Zerglings, ViBE. That's exactly what he does. And he didn't even have that Fort simulator, so MaNa's really committing to this.
+2 feels really late to me. He just now started it, even though Blink's finishing. Not sure what that's all about.
I just feel that he's been putting on so much pressure that
yeah.
He kind of, I don't know, maybe
we're gonna see that Blink micro from MaNa. We'll see. Oh, loses a couple Stalkers really fast there, and now we can just see the Zerglings with the roaches so much more effective than without.
I actually kind of really like the way that MaNa micro that. He just ends up now losing 2 Stalkers. I mean, it always looks more fancy one by one, but I think this kind of made sense, like making them back in lines, basically.
86 supply against 107 right now, so very, very close still. ViBE doing his best to hold. Going up to Infestors in the midst of this, it's dangerous to invest that much gas in that Infestor tech while you're being attacked, and he's going to go for it.
Yeah, the best thing is that MaNa's been putting on so much pressure on ViBE that ViBE is still on 46 drones, which is not horrific, but it's definitely not good. Like, look at how few drones he actually has in his third base.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a huge economic lead for ViBE right now. That much is certain. Well, it's a huge blink by MaNa. Says, okay, I just don't want to fight right now. But ViBE's mustering more and more of a defense, and his pathogen glands upgrade, like if he starts Infestors now, they're going to pop out with fungals.
Yeah, MaNa's kind of worried, of course, because MaNa doesn't have an observer, guys, so he doesn't know what we know. It's very easy talking hindsight, but he's backing off right now because he's like, alright, if suddenly 3-4 Infestors show up and I lose these Stalkers, I pretty much lose the game. So that's why MaNa is much more careful right now, which maybe looks a bit silly when you could have seen the game, because you think like, MaNa can still pick up 4 or 5 more roaches, but obviously that's not the way that MaNa sees the game right now.
MaNa is getting a third though, which is nice. Do you think he's going to be able to defend that third though? ViBE's already sending out a handful of Zerglings.
I think it's going to be more than fine, Ben. With 46 drones, we saw that yesterday with Dark Force versus Noni. There's only so much pressure you can really do. Okay, that's going to be a scary moment for MaNa, but if he survives that one, it's basically a 3-base all-in, if that makes any sense.
Right, yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, as those Stalkers do show up just in time to deal with these Zerglings moving up on top of them. Clean them all up. Nexus takes some damage, but not too much. No big deal. Mostly just shields.
ViBE, realizing that those Stalkers are out of position, instantly takes out these Spinelets, and he's also rallying all his units across the map. MaNa's starting +3, so that's actually nice for ViBE right now, as silly as that sounds, because that's a pretty big investment. MaNa's gonna get cannons as well. He knows that this is gonna get tricky. With good fungals, I think ViBE could do it. 33 roaches against 27 Blink Stalkers, and also 55 Zerglings. MaNa needs cannons on the low ground, that's for sure.
He's got no cannons.
He does have Force Field though, and Force Field is pretty great in this phase of the game.
I don't know if he realizes that Fungal's going to be in this fight though. Need to see some good blinks. Nice Force Fields going down there. Really, really great Force Fields. Those infestors are in the back, dropping a little bit of funk, but none of them being all that effective. And the Stalker's in a great position. They can blink up to that high ground. Look at this beautiful defense by MaNa.
Yeah, this is so well played by MaNa. Those force fields were really, really key. ViBE is actually going to take down this Nexus, though.
Snipes it off.
Yeah, but he's going to lose so many
I
units
don't know
in
if
the
it was
process.
worth it, man. 400 minerals for an army.
He's going to lose. Are these units trapped? No, then not trapped.
Well,
there's a way out. But he's okay, MaNa's actually not chasing, which I'm very surprised.
30,
yeah, I agree.
30 Stalkers to 15 Roaches. That would have been an easy win for MaNa.
And not just that, he would have picked up that Infestor as well, which has a lot of energy, and it's obviously an expensive unit. And ViBE is still so low on drones. As you said, okay, he took out the Nexus, which is okay, but I wouldn't call it a win for ViBE. Great force fields by MaNa once more.
Really, really, really good win. And you can see the difference on the units lost tab. That's really where it comes through. 4,000 resources lost to 6,000 resources lost. That's a big swing when you consider that these guys have been mining the same amount this whole game. They've both got about the same bit of money at their disposal.
MaNa even a little bit more, so the fact that he lost less, that really means a lot. Taking a look at army supply right now, ViBE still does have a small lead, but if we take a look at what it's worth, we see that MaNa's army is clearly way more worth.
Yeah, and ViBE's finally 15 minutes in trying to add in drones, but he's just having a hard time getting enough.
Yeah, and not to forget +3, man.
Oh wow, +3 is finishing.
+3 Stalkers against O2 Roaches. I know on which side I want to be. The Roach side.
I knew you were going to say that. ViBE is only 20 supply ahead right now, and he's 20 supply ahead with a Roach-based army, which is probably not going to cut it. MaNa's Robo is finishing up. We'll probably see him start pumping out on Observer first and then some Immortals.
Look at MaNa, man. He's so paranoid. But it's actually a pretty good read, because ViBE is still so... No, actually ViBE did carry out quite a few drones. He's droning up a little bit, so I think MaNa's a bit overdoing it a little bit right now. 6 cannons?
Well, he had a lot of minerals, so...
Yeah, he did, but...
His gas is pretty low.
Getting some extra gates now as well. Let's take a look. How many gates do you have right now, MaNa?
MaNa going straight up to Robotics Bay. I guess he doesn't want to make Immortals. Just wants to get Colossus out. That makes sense, too.
He has 5 gates, and yeah, he's a 5 gates Robo. He's getting... No, 6. Maybe 5.
ViBE has managed to max Kev. The problem here, though, is because he hasn't been working on 80 drones this whole time, he doesn't have a big bank behind it. He'll have one huge punch, but if he doesn't win with it, I'm not sure that he can remax, period.
You need a Burrow and Tunneling clauses are being researched right now, so this would be a very strange moment to attack for ViBE. He's going to do it. Nice force fields again. I mean,
that's not going to work. Those poor Roaches. What about me? Well,
cute force fields. I mean, he's going to regenerate that energy anyway, so every Roach that he picked up is a good Roach. I always say, man, there's no better Roach than a dead Roach.
Only 20 supply separating these two players. MaNa going to go out and take a 4th base. When he does, he's going to see a ViBE Zergling waiting for him.
ViBE does have a little bit of money right now. Hive is on the way. I think MaNa's being a bit... I mean, maybe it's silly to say that he's passed because he was in a good economic position, but he has such a scary army.
Yeah, well,
and he's been mining a lot more.
I think he just wants to hit that 180 supply, 170 supply mark.
I think what he, I mean, as I mentioned before, it's so hard to often have the best read or have like a super proper read. Since his robotics facility was so late, he never really got a good scout off on all the bases. I think he had no idea that ViBE was only at 44 drones for such a long time.
Yeah.
I think he thought that ViBE maybe was at 52, 55, which makes such a huge difference.
And really, that's where you're supposed to be. The supply blocks, I think, are what did it. ViBE could have had more drones out. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case.
Ooh, now 10 Corruptors are on the way, man. And since MaNa's taking this 4th base, I actually think we're going to see Brood Lords for ViBE. ViBE's going to have to free up some supply, though, but that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, MaNa is playing so passively. I'm a little bit sad at this point. If he had gotten aggressive after winning that last fight, it would have been very tough for ViBE to muster defense. But now ViBE is maxed out. He's building up some money. He's rounding out his tech.
I must say, by the way, I really enjoy this map. The more I see it, the more I like it.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit myself. Tunneling Claws and Burrow also both done, so these Roaches are going to be a bit more effective this time than they were last time, but effective against Colossi and Immortals.
This is great, by the way, for ViBE, because ViBE all he wants to do right now is lose a few units, not too many, so he could lose a few Roaches. Yeah, that's actually a really cute play. I don't think MaNa saw that.
No,
still sees his big Roach army. If you could force it, no, he's not going to be able to force. But as long as he can kill cannons or a pylon or something like that, it's good. Because he needs to free up supply. He has the money for Broodlords and he wants those Broodlords.
Yep, kills those 3 cannons immediately. Now he's going to go to work on whatever's back behind that Nexus. It's not that much, just a Stalker and a couple of probes. Same time, a second wave of attack. Oh, good force fields, but MaNa Stalkers and simply too close to that. There's some cute Burrow play. MaNa's got to split up that army a little bit better. He is bringing back the Colossi and the Immortals for the brunt of this push.
Don't know where to look. I think he might end up losing the Nexus over here. Yes, he does.
It does fall, man. ViBE has picked off 2 Nexuses now in this game, so it's starting to look a little better for him. 10 Broodlords coming.
Gotta pick up a couple of Stalks as well. Blink is on cooldown. You can pick up those 2 as well. ViBE. Okay, that's not gonna work. Really, really great multi-prong aggression by ViBE.
Yeah,
super
play.
good.
Really using that APM that we all know that ViBE is capable of. Now, MaNa, who was in such a great position for so long, is all of a sudden...
I mean, it's going to kill this hedge, that's okay, but we have 10 Broodlords on the map right now. The only thing I'm a bit worried about for ViBE is that he only has 3 Infestors, but he's just when I'm about to say that, he puts 3 more on the production tab, so I like it. He's just a little bit low on gas. Other than that, he's playing really, really good. I don't think MaNa can do it. He has a ton of Stalkers. Nice fungal growth right there by ViBE.
That is such a huge fungal. Broodlords are going to manage to pick off a couple of Stalkers. Whoa, big offensive blink. MaNa really wants to go for it with Immortals and Colossi in the back. I'm eager to see how it happens. Oh man, all the Broodlords are gone and the Stalkers just going to make their way through everything. MaNa, well, now he's surrounded. But with the Robotech behind it, I think he's got more than enough.
Yeah, I think he has enough too. 66 Zerglings on the way, but there are 3 Colossus, so that's just not going to help out. Once more, really, really nice force field by MaNa. I just felt that ViBE should have had the Roaches more below the Broodlords. They were too exposed in the start.
Yeah, they were a little bit too exposed. I don't think he was expecting that big offensive blink from MaNa.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I thought that was almost suicidal, but it worked out very well from a big Zergling counterattack heading towards MaNa's base.
I really like that. Now ViBE has gas again for... Be careful, ViBE. He's losing a lot of Zerglings over there.
Just in the counter, change his mind.
Nice blink right there.
Fungal goes down on some Stalkers, but it's really not a big deal. Just some shield damage taken.
Yeah, that's cool, but he needed that fungal to stay alive a little bit longer. Now ViBE is making Roaches again. He could potentially make Broodlords. I don't think he should try to save this 4th base, because that's a fight that he's not going to be able to win. Once more, I love the force fields of MaNa. I wouldn't go to...
he's going to try to push it. He's not having much luck. Well, now the Roaches are streaming in. Infested Terran's also going to pop. The Immortals are just so good. Colossi not being targeted down at all either. One Colossus finally going to fall. But MaNa still just has a little bit too much for ViBE to deal with. It's 150 supply to 110, and now the Zerg player losing his ability to rebuild.
Yeah, only 1 on a 10 supply left for ViBE. MaNa going for the offensive link. Careful with that Observer, MaNa. You need that to pick up those burrowed units. That's what he does. ViBE calls GG. MaNa wins the first map on Ohana.
Well played. Gregors?
Yeah, Gregors Kunic. I was looking at the name as well. I was like,
where did that Z come from? Oh man, MaNa the man. Takes down ViBE in the first game.
Really good game though. I really enjoyed it, and I think ViBE played really, really well for a very long amount of time. It's not easy to not take too much damage from those Blink Stalkers. I mean, we said, okay, that 1 supply block was nasty. He could have had a few more drones, but I loved his multi-prong aggression late game. That was so smart.
I kind of thought ViBE was in an unwinnable position, and then he made it close.
Yeah. I actually think it looked pretty good for him, because that blink that MaNa made, that's a situation where I'm sure that all the Protoss players who are watching right now, we find ourselves so often in that situation. It's either like, okay, do I go for the suicide blink, as we call it, or not? Okay, you blink, you might pick them all off, but you might actually, your Stalkers might just melt straight away.
Right. He didn't know if there was 3 Infestors or 8.
Exactly, and he couldn't really see how many Roaches there were either, and force fields were not actually able to protect the Stalkers right on that moment. But yeah, it turned out well for MaNa. He managed to pick off pretty much all the Broodlords before the Roaches were in a really good position. Small mistake by ViBE cost him the game, but I still think he displayed great skill.
That game was brought to you guys by Epson projectors. When you're watching a movie, you should watch it on an Epson projector.
This guy's a good salesman. I like it.
Check out Epson.com/gaming for some great deals on Epson products. We are going to kick it to a very short commercial break, and when we get back, it'll be Game 2, MaNa versus ViBE. Can you say that? The poll? Can you close it out?
I would say that it's the Polish player.
The Polish player?
Yeah, sounds better.
The Candyman. I'm going to call him the Candyman.
You can do that. Yeah, he loves candy.
Yeah, he does. All right, we'll be back, guys, in just a sec. We are back once again. I had to drag that Wii out because my microphone wasn't turned on in time. Elliot.
Production crew.
No, I'm still looking at you, Elliot. I'm still looking at you. Hey, turn me back on. Turn me back on!
Wow. I'm working with kids. It's insane.
All right,
where's Chance? I'm just going to play with Chance. Where's my doggy?
Game 2's already begun, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into that. So we can see what happens between MaNa and ViBE on Antigua, I do believe.
Yes, Antigua Shipyard is the second map. We see those two lovely guys on your screen right there. MaNa looking handsome in that mouse shirt as always. The mouse shirts look good, man. I like them.
Indeed. Indeed. ViBE's a boss too. What's he wearing on his neck there?
You know, Ben, the never-ending discussion before I'm going to introduce these players on Antigua Shipyard is when people cast the tournament, health bars on or off.
You're right.
I really want to have this poll just on facebook.com/NASLTV. I really think we should host that poll, let the people decide.
For now, send some tweets. Send some tweets to @NASLTV, but also @Rotterdam08 and @MrBitterTV so we can see your answers. Health bars on or off? Question for the ages. Our switcher who keeps muting my microphone thinks they should only be on when selected. I like them always on.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I can understand the argument that sometimes if there's like a lot of medevacs on top of each other, yes, then it gets a little bit funky. I agree with that, and it looks a little bit confusing. But just in general, I always want to see how much energy there is in units. If there's a roach stalker war going on, I want to see which unit has low HP. I want to see which unit they should have focused if they're focusing one. And you can't always have all the units selected that people wonder about, because there are people at home who wonder about different things that I wonder about when I have to select units.
Right, Kev. But it can't be about us. It has to be about you guys, the viewers. So we want to know. Health bars on, health bars off.
Tweet at us.
Selected. I don't know.
Yeah, just tweet, but I really think we should force NASL to make a poll. So if anybody's listening, tell them to get that poll up right now, and we can close this once and for all. Of course, we will listen to you
maybe
guys.
We can put the poll on NASL Chance's Facebook page.
Oh. Does he have a Facebook page right now?
Yeah, he has to at this point.
It was really fun when I said like, oh, where's my doggy? My producer got really mad. He's like, it's my dog. It's like pointing at his chest. Mine.
We were joking with Morgan, our producer, yesterday about his lone claim to fame. He's worked with Tony Hawk. He was one of the big producers of some of the big awesome skateboard productions, and X Games and stuff like that. But his real claim to fame is owning Chance.
Like for the first time in my life, I'm going to get recognized because of my dog. Oh, but Chance is so awesome.
My favorite Chance story is that there's now girl dogs sending him photos on Twitter saying, "Hey babe, want to hook up?"
Chance is badass, man.
He's a handsome doggy, man. If I was a lady dog, I would wanna date Chance.
Me too, but I don't think you can. I think Chance would be a bit of a male slut though.
Man, he's got too many options to just settle on one lady dog.
So we see MaNa went for Nexus first, followed up by a Forge. He's getting his gateway as well. Surprising that on this map he chooses to wall off on the ramp, by the way, while at Ohana I would say it's easier, man. And he didn't decide to go for that. I kind of wonder.
Yeah, we know with certainty that this map is very susceptible to baneling play. Snoot has made that very popular.
Yep.
Not just in tournaments, or not just on ladder, but in tournaments as well. Recently winning the One Nation of Gamers I2, their second invitational. We'll see if that's what... well, actually, I don't think we're going to see ViBE do that at all, as he is, once again, 3 bases, no gas.
Yeah, very quick 3 bases. I like it. I feel so uncomfortable when the health bars are not on, man. I feel like a whiny man right now. I'm just going to have to deal with it until the community votes. I really hope you guys vote.
One of the most interesting changes to the NASL version of Antigua Shipyard is the mineral patches in the middle of the map. It's 5 mineral patches, 1 gas. Which basically means controlling the center is less lucrative than it is on other versions of Antigua.
That is correct, Ben. Very quick +1 on the way for MaNa right now. So maybe once more a little bit of 4-gate pressure. I'm not sure how that turns out on Antigua though. I don't think it's going to be as strong as it is on perhaps Ohana, because it should be... ViBE should have a little bit more experience on this map as well, so it might be easier for him to actually scout that probe in time.
Yes, I'm sure you just made an awesome point, but I was just handed a note from the producer.
No worries, man.
Talking about how Chance is still taking invitations from lady dogs for days.
That's nice to know.
So send him tweets.
What do you think about Kaya and Chance?
Oh man, that would result in the awesomest dog ever.
Yeah, Kaya.
Be fluffy German Shepherd galore.
German Shepherd with Akita.
Kaisha is Kevin's Akita.
Yeah, she's awesome. I miss her very much. The sacrifices I make for esports.
Very early Roach Warren from ViBE here.
Kind of wonder, well, 42 supply. I kind of wonder if he's going to do something with it. He still didn't have any extracted though, so he's not mining any gas. We'll see. You know, one more thing, by the way, Ben, like when someone is just like scrolling through bases, you can't really see how much energy the queens have.
You're really hung up on this health bars thing.
No, I'm just like giving arguments. I'm just steering people in the right direction. You know, guys, I am completely unbiased.
You know, as a figure, a prominent figure in the esports community, some might argue that it's unfair for you to try to influence people's decisions.
That is correct. Well, I'm completely neutral on this point.
I'm still going to vote for health bars.
MaNa's final is a little bit delayed. We see 3 more gates on the way, so I was correct. Once more, he's going for 4 gate pressure. I think he's going to have a tougher time pulling it off this time, but I think ViBE is going to be more on top of it. ViBE gets a great scout off over here as well. He's going to see at least 3 gates. That does mean that he has to worry just a little bit about potential 7 or 8 gates, because there could be 3 more gates over here as well. But he's getting more drones right now. Oh, MaNa, actually, I'm liking this. He gets scouted, drops that Nexus. Smart, really smart.
And you know, with those extra gateways, if ViBE decides to come and attack, you know, he will be able to warp in enough units to mount somewhat of a defense. I mean, 3 gates, 4 gates, it's not 7 gates, but you can still get plenty of sentries and things like that off of those 4 gateways.
And this is something we've seen quite a lot as well. Like Hydra loves to take really quick 3 bases as well. Munchie, for instance, people probably wondering like, oh, who's Munchie?
He's the best Protoss player in the world.
he's one of our local fan favorites in Europe, an Austrian Protoss player. We are quite a fan of him.
Best blink micer on the planet.
Yes, we like to exaggerate, but
never play Muta against Munchie.
No, that's I can say.
It's a build order loss.
Don't play Muta against Munchie. He's very good against it. But yeah, he's something who's been doing this a lot as well. But we also seen him get punished for it.
Yes. I mean, well, it's very punishable, especially with a Stefano style. As ViBE is kind of trying to play.
Yeah, this is starting to feel. He is researching Zergling speed right now. He's getting a ton of drones. I'm loving this. Did he actually? Yeah, he scouted it, right, with the Zergling. Yes, he knows exactly what's going on. So there are 2 ways to deal with this. Either you go super hardcore on the roaches straight away, or you go up to a ridiculous amount of drones. Man, why? That's not cool.
And you're exactly right. So we just see a little drone transfer over here to the 3rd base as ViBE really is rounding out that that drone production.
75 supply right now for MaNa, and we see ViBE adding a Spire already as well. That's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's a defensive Spire perhaps for Corruptus, because he's afraid of a Colossus push, or if he wants to make a switch into Muta. Both things are of course possible, but regarding the upgrades so far, MaNa's getting an Hallucination Scout off, by the way. I think he's just going to go with the Roaches for quite a while, and then makes a switch into, could potentially make a switch into Muta, but hard to call right now.
Impossible to call, as we see that blink upgrade starting for MaNa, also getting that robo down. So he's just, you know, he's got these 3 bases. Once he gets enough workers and gets those gases going, golly, ViBE.
I like how ViBE is doing this though, because if Protoss goes for 3 bases this quick, there's no way they put actually serious pressure on you. And by the time they cross the map, you should have enough units to deal with this. So why not go for a ridiculous amount of drones?
Yep.
That's exactly what he does.
And later on, that can just sort of translate to spine crawlers for your broodlords and your infestors. That's exactly what Stefano likes to do. One thing that I will criticize ViBE for is he's kind of given up on his creep spread. He got it out almost to the middle and then stopped. And we saw just how effective big creep spread can be from players like HeyPro and like Stefano. Once you get that creep into the middle, 15 spine crawlers on that high ground in the center is almost impossible for Protoss to break.
MaNa is adding a Stargate right now, so he might just be a little bit worried about Mutas, and if
could also be just for Mothership.
That, yeah, of course that could be too, because he's on 3 base after all. But he might be worried about Muta because he's been scouting a lot, but he actually never really seen an army. And that's something that worries you, because sometimes you see a Roach 1, you see he's getting Roach upgrades, but if he never makes any Muta units, he could potentially be saving up a lot of money and instantly have a ton of Mutas. So perhaps that's why he's adding the Stargate, but it could also very well be that he's completely satisfied with Blink Stalker defense and just wants to get a Mothership.
As it happens, ViBE is going to pop out a couple of Mutas here. So a small Muta switch on the back of this Roach aggression, just opening up that back door. MaNa has walled in very nicely with the gateways, cannon behind it, as well as quite a few units. And still no real openings for ViBE to hit, but MaNa's way down in supply. ViBE up. God, he's going to be maxed out with his next round.
He's up 70 supply. That's so much. MaNa's going to need some great force fields. He needs to save time. MaNa has a great economy too, of course. 68 probes in this phase of the game. 12 minutes on 3 base. That's just awesome. Force fields are going down, so these 3 Roaches will bite the dust.
Catching those Roaches, MaNa, I feel like he needs some Immortals, but it's hard to suggest that when you know Mutas are coming. But, yeah, I mean...
Currently have 8 Mutas on the map already. Fleet Beacon is going up for MaNa, so it is just going to be a Mothership. I love these cannons, by the way, so MaNa is sort of preparing for Mutas, but I'm not sure if he's preparing for that many.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to say, as ViBE is going to make a poke up here into the front base as the Mutas are going to make their way into the back. MaNa's in a good position, but he's just on Stalker Sentry, which is, it's okay against Roaches, but not really getting. It's not the same kind of damage output as you get with Immortals.
Look at the money of ViBE. ViBE is just getting everything.
Yeah.
He's getting the Infestation Pit now as well, which I think is a very smart decision. And this must be so weird to play if you're MaNa. Look at his map vision, and this is how it's been for the last 5 minutes, unless he sends the Hallucination Scout off.
Yeah, this one's going much better for ViBE. He is maxed out again. MaNa supply box at 140 as those roaches make their way into the third base. Force fields go down, but they're not that good. And ViBE probably going to do some pretty good damage here.
Muda's in the main base as well, but I'm looking at this roach fight. Now we can take a look at these Mudas, see what's going on. Blink Stalkers are blinking below them.
Yep.
Nice defense by MaNa.
Those Mutas have only killed a couple of cannons, so no real damage done. MaNa might lose a sentry carelessly here. What are you doing, sentry?
Hero sentry.
He's running away. And
Chance was worried about it too, man. Ooh, lost this sentry on the high ground. That kind of hurts because he had 200 energy. But look at this, man. ViBE lost 3,600 resources, 2,100, 2,100 more than MaNa, and he still has 2,500 banked up, 700 gas. The economy of ViBE has just been absolutely nuts. And look at this, he's actually getting the Phoenix upgrade.
I just noticed that as well. Mothership on the way with the Phoenix range upgrade. He hasn't made a single Phoenix though, so I'm not sure what to make of that. Never mind.
He's going to end up losing a lot of these sentries. There are really not that many Stalkers to deal with this Phoenix.
Out of position. Some Stalkers coming down from the high ground. Roaches burrowing underneath those force fields. Units coming up from behind, though, so MaNa's got a lot of stuff on either side of ViBE. And ViBE on move command is walking right into those Stalkers. Lose quite a few Roaches. Phoenix is miscontrolled there.
Yep.
Another great blink by MaNa, though, and he's got a lot more Stalkers than ViBE has Roaches, and ViBE's going to be turned around here. Still ahead in supply, but MaNa won that fight decisively.
Loving the defense from MaNa so far, and of course Blink Stalkers right now, it's hard to deal with. ViBE is fighting without his Roaches. Now he actually attacked his Roaches with that, oh, maybe he picked off the Observer, that is what it was. I thought he had killed his own Roach with the
now he can burrow and tunnel away. Which
that's very smart, very smart
Super,
move.
super cute. More Phoenixes coming out from MaNa. That Mothership dangerously near completion.
A cute job.
It was. That is the definition of a cute move. Greater Spire's on the way for ViBE. Has just started a few seconds ago.
Look at the money of ViBE.
Yeah.
Just nuts.
I mean, it's the power of this big drone number. And once the Greater Spire comes out, he can make 18 Spine Crawlers, and he's in good shape.
I think we're going to see a very long game, but the Mothership is almost out for MaNa, though. +3 is almost ready as well. Where are those Mudas? They're dancing around with those Phoenixes. The big problem is, like, this Phoenix upgrade is great. Oh, nice blink right there by MaNa.
Yep, catching a few more Mutalisks. All good stuff. MaNa working on a max of his own. He probably wants to throw down a Templar Archives, but he's so low on gas.
But I really think ViBE is playing some superb StarCraft. Both of these games. He's really shown that he's easily good enough to compete with without a doubt, one of the best Protoss players in Europe.
Yeah, he's a great multitasker. That's ViBE's real strength. He's a high APM player with great multitasking. But, I mean, MaNa's no slouch in that department either, and he's been hanging in there.
MaNa, of course, super experienced already. So many achievements, even on LAN events, big international LAN events. But it's impressive. ViBE is playing really, really well, and he's actually still ahead in this game. I mean, MaNa, meanwhile, we have a ton of Mudas right now flying in the main base. How many Phoenixes do we have? 1, 2, 4. That actually might be enough to kill all those.
It will be, and that's going to be a nice little win for MaNa. ViBE just made 17 Spine Crawlers, Kev, so he is starting that big switch into the Brood Lords. Another big fight in the middle of the map. Zerglings and Roaches getting chased away by all those Blink Stalkers. There's so many Blink Stalkers. But here's the thing. MaNa's got a great Stalker count. He's got that Mothership out. But what does he really have? Like, he's got no Archons, he's got no Colossi, he's got no big damage to the unit.
Not yet, but he might actually be able to take out one of the bases of ViBE. Literally, I mean one of the bases, because he has a ton of bases. But ViBE has a lot of units trapped over here, and I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Maybe for the Broodlords. Fungal Growth!
Fungal goes down and catches a lot of Stalkers, man. That is huge. I think that's going to be 10 Stalkers, more than 10 Stalkers killed.
I'm loving these O2 upgrades on the links as well.
Yeah,
really see they stay alive.
Really adds a great deal of depth to that fighting force. Broodlord's going to make their way over, and this is probably going to force MaNa to turn around. He says, "Oh, that sucks."
Beautiful fungal once more by ViBE. Gets 4 or 5 Stalkers absolutely for free.
I love the patience of ViBE. He wasn't just dumping all of his fungal energy. He said, "Okay, when I can get kills, I'll get kills." And that's exactly what he did. MaNa battered down to about 170 supply against the maxed out ViBE, but now the Mothership's in play.
And MaNa has 4 Stalkers. He'll be on the right top side of this map. He's starting to work on his hedge. Great game here between these two guys. I kind of wonder though, like, MaNa, why are you going with this? You have a Stargate. He doesn't have any air upgrades, he's just adding more gates, so he really wants to take out those Broodlords with Blink Stalkers, which is possible if the Zerg miscontrols. But for instance, when you see Stefano late game... I don't
think it's going to work, Kevin. He doesn't have any Archons, he doesn't. Now the Templar Archives goes down. It's
it
just
can
Phoenixes
work.
and Stalkers.
Vortex can work, Blink Stalkers can work.
Oh, the Vortex.
Oh, lifting up the Infestors.
Is not gone down yet. At the same time, there's some Broodlords working on that third base. Finally, the Vortex going down. This fight's going really well for Mana. The Stalker's just killing everything. A couple of Broodlords doing a ton of damage, but Stalker's going to blink right underneath.
Finally, he's actually starting to pick up Broodlords. He really need that beautiful position for all those blink Stalkers right now, killing so many Broodlords.
Oh man, who am I to question the efficacy of Stalkers? Those things are good, man. And Mana.
Look at these Phoenixes.
But look at ViBE, he's still maxed. Mana's down to 120 supply. He killed the Broodlords.
Yeah, but Mana has a lot of money. Mana actually has not been macroing during this fight. Well, ViBE has been macroing.
God, pick some Orcs, Infestors.
So nice.
Phoenix, really nice play with those Phoenixes.
And the best thing is, Mana's getting a fourth base, but ViBE is right on top of this. I'm loving this, Ben. How often do we not see as Protoss get a fourth base uncontended? And then we are always sitting there afterwards, yeah, it was a great game, but he shouldn't let a Protoss get a fourth base without actually having an army there. Mana does not have an army there and 5 forces to cancel. ViBE is playing so well.
Yeah, super map aware. Just doing everything right. Mana building another mothership now. ViBE, he doesn't have the same kind of money he had before. He can't build a bunch more Broodlords.
Oh, Mana might actually be in trouble right now. There are so many roaches. There's a lot of blink Stalkers too, but Mana's gonna just retreat.
Yep, gonna blink down, or maybe not. Making sure that it's safe to do so, I guess.
Mana has to macro a little bit better. He's such a great player, but he often has a little bit too much money. Well, yeah, just watching 11 Stalkers.
That works. Mana does need a fourth. Definitely needs a fourth. So he's now gonna have to.
But that's the beauty of ViBE's play. He just doesn't allow it unless you can actually really secure it. You can't get away with a sneaky base.
Finally, Mana's starting to add in some extra stuff to that Stalker force, making a few Immortals to round out the Stalker ball.
If we have to be critic ViBE for one thing.
No. Okay. Big fight in the middle of the map here as Roach is going to go to work on these Stalkers. Another great fungal. Every time ViBE fungals, he catches like 12 Stalkers. And Mana's going to lose them all. Whoa, Immortal! I got this, guys! Never mind. It's okay, he can come back as an Immortal again.
Yeah, this is starting to look really dark right now for Mana. Mana's getting 2 Archons right now. ViBE is going to sacrifice a few Roaches. He has to be careful with those Infestors. Why did he? Yeah, as he mentioned. He has a Fleet Beacon and he's building one more.
I don't know.
Just a mistake, I guess. It happens.
Yeah, it does happen, especially in these
games. Look at this. What the upgrade is so sick. Did you see that? Phoenix did 4 damage. Did you see that, man? Normally we are supposed to be able to snipe Infestors. Wow.
Yeah, +3 armor, man. It's good stuff. You gotta remember, Phoenix is attacked twice, so with the armor upgrade, it reduces it twice.
Yes. So. It's very painful to watch.
Mana's back up to 170
The good thing
supply.
is, one more reason why you should go to Barcraft, guys. Last time I went to a Barcraft, I met David Kim, and I let him know what's up. Don't worry, Protoss brothers, we've got this.
Oh,
I got David Kim his business card.
Wouldn't be a Roddy cast without a balance wine.
You know, the best thing is, like, I was joking a lot about him with how players used to send him all the emails, because I actually knew a few players who would literally like beat a race 10-0 and then the first game they lose, they would send an email to David Kim like, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
And then David Kim said like, yeah, we were aware of this. He's like, even the Koreans, they send me a lot of whiny emails. He's like, so from now on, we take caster advice very serious. I'm like, I'm your man, David. No.
Oh man. Mana now distance mining from the middle of the map because he's not been able to secure a fourth. He's mined out in his main, he's mined out in his natural. He's very rapidly thinning in that third base. It's going to get really grim for Mana if he can't get a new expansion, and he's going to have to cope with taking this center expand with fewer minerals and only the single gas.
There's no Broodlords now, though. But as I said, the only thing I think ViBE hasn't been doing well this series is his Broodlord positioning. Maybe he's just not super experienced with Broodlord Infestor. But other than that, he's
it does look like he likes to win games with like multi-pronged roach stuff, and it's a very powerful playstyle. But Mana showing that he can get into the late game. It's what he does when he gets there that will define who wins this matchup.
Ooh, I like this. Mana is just taking the middle and then instead starting expanding in the middle, even though that's not a great base. And Mana is running low on money, Ben. Obviously the main is mined out. I'm afraid to look at bases.
Yeah, it's only the center expand. The third's gonna be gone soon. It all comes down to whether or not Mana can secure this fourth. I don't think he's going to be able to, man. And ViBE's got so much money. ViBE can probably remax 6 more times.
Yes. I would not question that.
And with the Spine Crawlers, there's no Colossi. You can't really get through that Spine Crawler wall without Colossi, Kev.
You know, games like this, man, that's what I'm expecting of our first Sunday showdown between Todd and Sen. I think it's going to be such a great show.
I cannot wait to see Todd play. He's kind of a bit of a mystery man.
Oh, we have High Templars as well, but they're getting focused. Nice feedbacks, though.
Very quickly by those Roaches. We are going to finally get a big fight. Vortex going down. Not a bad engagement for MaNa, but ViBE just has so very much. 21 roaches immediately going up on the production tab.
We have those queens as well. The mothership dies straight away. ViBE is just going to put everything in, even a couple of infested Terrans. I wonder what's going to come out.
A lot of roaches, but with Immortals right there, I'm not sure that it matters. MaNa will clean up this attack, but...
The big problem is, Ben, I think ViBE brought all his queens.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
There's
He's got
not
a ton of hatcheries there.
Yeah, but he has 26
MaNa
larvae.
picking off his hatchet at the bottom left. Look at that. Making that happen in the midst of all that action. But the problem is ViBE, you know, he's just remaxed. He's got 9 Broodlords coming, and I don't think MaNa can deal with that. He doesn't have the money.
I wonder where ViBE is mining, because he has 51 drones. I guess he's transferring units right now, because he's barely mining from this. He has 51 drones, so he should be able to easily saturate that. How many drones do you have here? Quite a few. Oh, he's transferring a ton of drones to the right top.
To where?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to.
I don't know about that transfer vibe.
No, this is
I don't think
interesting.
you got a base there.
Let's see what. Let's follow ViBE first person right now. Okay, let's actually be serious right now,
he
because
Broodlords.
No,
Fight in the middle, man.
he's just doing some long distance mining. He has the Broodlords, but he has to be careful. He's kind of exposing them.
But
you really need to have the roaches below them. Sorry, Ben, go ahead.
Infestors with a lot of energy, 6 of them out, a lot of roaches. The mothership's not really in play. MaNa's building one, but it's not going to be done for quite a while.
But now ViBE is out of money too, so the next the next fight is going to be very crucial for ViBE.
MaNa did pick off that base in the bottom left. But oh my god, here comes the fight. Roach is getting right up on top of everything. Broodlord's going down pretty quickly. Only about 4 Broodlords left, but with the fungal, with all the roaches, with the spine crawlers. As ViBE finally does start marching those forward along with that creep wall, it does look like ViBE's going to take that fight. And with it, he'll take out the 4th base of MaNa. Yeah,
that's the mothership as well, so the mothership will not spawn. MaNa left with only 100 supply right now. I'm surprised that MaNa never used Storm. He's so low on gas, I guess that's the reason. He just didn't feel like he could afford it.
MaNa might try one final attack with all of his probes. He's just made a couple of Archons. And it's still not over, Kev, because while MaNa...
Yeah, he just lost the If he only made the mothership at this base, then you could have said it's still not over.
No,
I mean, maybe it's still not over, but it's going to be so tough.
Well, that's a lot of probes. Here we go. Fungal goes down.
That's scary, man.
Probes fighting. Roaches fighting. There's the fungal going down. GG comes out of MaNa. ViBE does take it in a very epic
What
game,
a good
too.
game. Seriously. One of the better games I've seen of this season.
Yeah, that's the best game we've got to cast yet.
I agree. Hands down, I agree. Really, really enjoyable, entertaining game between MaNa and ViBE. ViBE really showing that he's capable of competing with these guys.
Yeah, great play by ViBE there.
Excited for Game 3. Really excited.
That game was brought to you guys by Azo. Right?
Yes.
That's the right sponsor plug.
Azo.
Azo on the MaNa versus ViBE Game 2. Azo monitors, of course. They're pretty spiffy.
They are.
Azo.com. NASL.TV has a 25% coupon, I believe, somewhere on their website.
You can get one with autographs too.
Yep, these are all autographed. You can actually, well, you can't see it really because they're angled, but we've got some autographed Azo monitors. Maybe we'll give them out at the Barcraft. That sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a good idea, man.
All right. Well, enough goofing around. We're going to kick it to a commercial, and when we get back, the final game of MaNa versus ViBE. Who's going to take it? I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's looking tough.
And here we go. We can see it is, as you said, Tal'Darim Altar down in the bottom right. mouz.MaNa. And his opponent ViBE spawned up in the top right. So kind of a close-ish position. Not a bad position for a Colossus push.
Not at all. Unfortunately for MaNa, he's going to scout the wrong direction, so he's probably going to send another probe. When he gets the Forge over here, then he's probably going to send a probe over here as well, because he wants to make sure that he's not getting 6-boot, even though ViBE doesn't strike me like the guy at all who wants 6-boot.
Certainly not in Game 3. I actually expect to see more the same out of ViBE. He's kind of adopted a Stefano style.
But yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And while I was just going to say, while he doesn't necessarily do it quite as well as Stefano does, he looks really strong.
I'm super impressed, man. And you know that I don't often like hype stuff if I don't like. I'm actually hyped about it, but I think ViBE played so extremely well in both of these games. Actually, as I said, the only thing that I think he did a little bit wrong was the Broodlord, the ultimate army control of Zerg. He could have improved that, but the final time he did it so well with those spine crawlers below it, with those roaches, and then you see if MaNa makes a blink like this, that is actually very, very risky. this is a little bit risky, because if MaNa sends this probe right now, he's not doing it. ViBE is getting fortunate here in my opinion, because if MaNa sends this probe up with a 15 forge and it's going to be there, he's going to cannon rush and ViBE is going to lose that hatch. Unless he has like the best cannon rush defense ever, but he's going to pull 12 drones then.
Yeah, it's hard to defend cannon rush with hatch first. Nobody knows better than Roti.
Yes, no, mine are pretty solid, man.
But I mean, it's widely regarded amongst a lot of pro players. I think Todd's another guy that does it. If he sees a hatch first, he'll just cannon.
Yeah, you should. There's no reason not to.
So, but looks like ViBE's going to get away with it. So we'll see maybe even bigger macro ViBE than what we've seen in the last 2 games. I want to remind everybody, please, to tune in this Sunday, not this Sunday, next Sunday for our first ever Sunday Showdown. That is the Show Match Series, sponsored by the NASL. We're going to fly in players from all around the world every Sunday, starting on the 22nd, for what is essentially a $2,000 show match. $500 to each player for being there, and then an extra $1,000 to the winner. The first one will be Todd versus Sin, and that's going to be open to everybody. Anybody can tune in. But after that, it's subscribers only, which means you guys need to go buy those HD tickets right now so that you guys can catch Todd versus Sin and some of the other sick matches we have coming up. And guys, these are matches that everybody wants to see.
Exactly. We're not going to fly out 2 no-names. Obviously, we're going to try to get matches as good as possible. Sometimes it's going to be tough because there might be other tournaments going on, but in general, you can really expect absolute top-notch matches. Matches that you want to see, matches that are hyped. And I'm really hyped about this, man. 9 weeks on the road, we're going to fly in 2 players. That's so cool. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to meet so many people.
Chance versus Misha? The esport, not the esports.
I think it's Miska.
Miska? The talking husky?
Yeah, yeah. Husky. Anyways, focusing on the game right now, we see everything turn off so far. What I want to say in the start of the game, by the way, Ben, you said like I think we're going to see more of the same.
ViBE gets just laying down into MaNa's base, Kev, which is not a huge deal this early on, but he sees double gas. He sees no gases in the net. Well, I mean, it's a little early for that yet, but still, that Ling's going to be a powerful scout, and until MaNa gets a stalker out, he's not going to be able to do anything about it.
There is a Zergling in my base.
How did it get there? How did that Zergling get there? Like, seriously.
I do not understand.
The cannon has no kill. How did that Zergling get there? I guess the cannon was just late.
Yeah, like that's what I was wondering. I selected the cannon too. Like, actually, I really have a white Ramon right now. Like, I do not understand.
This makes no sense.
There's a cannon with no kills, and there's only 1 Zergling.
Yeah, working on a probe. Not going to get a kill because MaNa's too good for that. But
anyway, Ben, what I want to say is that you said that ViBE's probably going to do more of the same, which is definitely possible. So far, it seems like MaNa wants to do more of the same. He's getting +1 again. But on this map, it's not as easy for ViBE to take 3 bases. We can see that hatch is like a full 2 minutes later than it normally is. And that makes a really big difference.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree.
To some degree.
Well, I'm just a little bit curious about what ViBE has done here. He's taken 1 gas, he hasn't mined from it at all, and I wonder if it was to mind game MaNa.
Crutching probe, hidden pylon.
But no, MaNa hasn't scouted that at all.
Have you seen that movie, man?
It's one of my favorites where the hidden pylon goes down and then the Zerg player loses. Actually,
yes.
No, it's a tragedy. It's very sad, heart-wrenching.
No, it's an action movie where the good guys win.
Oh man. Well, I guess technically, if it was good guys and bad guys, Zerg would probably be the evil race. Yeah. It's like Alien Invaders or whatever. Space Invaders? Yeah, Space Invaders? That's the name of the movie, right?
I wonder if ViBE will definitely see it right now, that blue dot is moving. So MaNa's going to drop the first pylons. Warp gates, yep, are pretty much...
Hidden pylon does go down.
But warp gates are ready. ViBE actually doesn't have units on the map, and the roach one is pretty late as well. I think ViBE might end up losing this hatch over here, man.
How did this probe go unseen? There was an overlord right there, and
I think he saw it, but he barely has anything on the map. He has 4 Zerglings on the map.
And he's not building any units, he's building 6 drones. Wow. Oh my gosh, this is actually really bad.
So he did not see the blue dot on the minimap.
The pale blue dot.
Take a look, ViBE first person right now. This is the first time he's actually going to see these units storming in. That is 6 Zealots, and if I were MaNa right now, I would just keep wiping in Stalkers. That's exactly what he does, and he might actually be able to take, maybe not the game, but do so much damage.
Win for MaNa. I don't really think that he's going to kill the base for free. Probably not going to do much more. Wow, he's a Zealot in the natural too. Not got any kills yet because he's working on the Queen, but that could have been pretty devastating. ViBE pulls some drones and deals with it before he loses anything.
I love this. MaNa is just continuing and realizing that ViBE is very underprepared. The first roaches are about to spawn. 5 roaches might be enough, but Zealots do tank a lot of damage. MaNa should just wait a little bit.
Send the Zealots to the main. Send the Zealots to the main. No, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to chase and fight. Roach is going to back into a corner. 14 Lings are about to spawn. Nice positioning, beautiful transfusion there. Zealots are getting in on that action, but I think this is a pretty good defense by ViBE, quite frankly.
Yeah, so far so good. And now these Zerglings spawn, but more Stalkers being as well. Even though he gets the surround up, so these 2 Stalkers will fall. Picking off Stalkers is always a really, really big deal when you're defending. And with 32 more links in the way, he should be fine. Then again, maybe Mana already did enough damage.
Well, I think he's going to continue with the aggression. He's got that pylon right on the edge of ViBE's creep. He's got +1, so Zergling's going to be mediocre at best against this army. Oh, actually, no. I guess Mana's going to leave.
Yeah,
which also makes sense. He's done good damage. Uh-oh. Those are speedlings.
He's going to be in a lot of trouble. You might actually
end
up losing all of these Stalkers. The Blink is not ready yet. It's going to take 60 more seconds. Really good job by ViBE realizing that he could probably take all these Stalkers out with those speedlings.
And all of a sudden, that was better for the Zerg player than it was for Mana.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm
Why?
certain of it.
47 probes against 43 drones, 2 base against 2 base?
Yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, 3 hatch. Oh, a lot of Zerglings try to run by.
I mean, units loss favors Zerg a little bit.
Yeah.
And now Mana, you know, he's kind of stuck on 2 base. ViBE's thrown down... Oh, he had thrown down a Spire. He canceled and put down an Infestation Pit. Interesting.
Ah, that is interesting.
I would have liked the Mutaplay. I think the Mutaplay would have locked it up.
But maybe because he saw the Stalkers already and maybe he doesn't like Mutas that much against Blink Stalkers? Which in my opinion...
He just killed so many Stalkers, though. I think Muta would have made perfect sense. But either way, ViBE feels like Infestor's the better choice now. And still, Roach Infestor could be very good.
Yeah. The good thing is, by all this aggression of Mana, that there's barely any creep threat as well. So if Mana goes for another 2-base push, he doesn't have to worry about creep threat like being past the Selnaga Watchtower or something silly like that.
Tal'Darim also already a tough map to spread a creep on. 3rd base is down for Mana. Got scouted by ViBE though, so maybe that'll cue some sort of reaction. He does make 9 roaches upon seeing it.
5 still doesn't know where that first pylon is.
9 roaches and 10 drones following it. ViBE really does things in a weird order. He's like units and drones, units and drones. Whereas other Zerg players, I guess. Other Zerg players are a little more famous. Often just go drones and then units.
Yeah, but he did that on Antigua. I think this map he was just like he had to make a lot of units. On Antigua he barely made anything. He went up to 92 drones.
Yeah, but he also saw a third Nexus off of like 2 Stalkers.
But that's what he sees now as well. So I think he's just playing safe. I kind of like how he's playing.
War Prism on the way for Mana. That's kind of a cute choice. We'll see if he's able to get anything done with it.
He's gonna have to get something done with it. More and more drones on the way right now for ViBE. 14 actually.
Man, I think this looks really bad for Mana. I mean, his worker count's okay. He is securing this 3rd. If the 3rd comes up uncontested, then things will start to pick up for him. But ViBE's taking his 3rd. He's going to get harassed by some Zealots once again.
Yeah, these Zealots won't be able to kill it, but maybe he will be able to force something over here. But I don't think that's going to work.
Too many units in position. ViBE's still making drones.
I didn't like this sacrifice from Mana.
Yeah.
I think right now minerals are actually very important. And you cannot just sacrifice 6 Zealots for pretty much nothing besides a little bit of a spell.
Send 1 Zealot to see, what's going on at the 3rd base.
I agree.
But that was costly. That was the price of a Nexus.
Maybe he's worried that he couldn't keep this base alive, so he just wanted to force ViBE to be out of position. Maybe that's the reason why he did it. So he's like, okay, for 500 minerals, I'm gonna have more time to secure my base, but it wasn't actually necessary.
Moving out on the map with these
so
Stalkers once again, man. Mana really playing with fire.
He does have an observer.
Yeah, I suppose.
Thermal lens, extended thermal lens on the way, +3 on the way as well. Like what I can see work in Mana's favor is that he gets like 2-3 Colossus or maybe even 4, and then makes a push. And if ViBE is sort of maxed out on a Roach something Infestor army, then it actually could turn out really, really ugly for ViBE, because not having Corruptus against Colossus can just be a real problem.
I actually really like that Mana's going Colossus, because I mean, in the last game he stayed on Stalker the whole time, had some issues dealing with the army of ViBE. This time he's going to have the Colossi in the mix, but I just still, look at ViBE's economy, man.
Yeah,
4 base,
right.
90 drones.
Yeah, you were really right. Like, after that 47, 43 looks good for Mana, but if Zerg has a macro hedge, it's kind of like Zerg has Muse too, that's how it kind of is. And Protoss just, his economy is climbing steady, while Zerg just goes out of control.
Yeah.
They can actually go out of control. And that is exactly what happened, and suddenly Mana finds himself 65 supply down, despite leaving that attack with more workers and an even amount of bases.
If you, like when he lost those units, he lost his ability to dictate any of the game. It became ViBE's game to dictate, and that's what's so important. Controlling the pacing is really, it's necessary, especially for Protoss.
ViBE getting a Hive now as well, and the Spire is almost done, so he could potentially start sacrificing a few units,
I
as
think
long
that's
as he does
exactly
something.
what he should do, man. He's got money to spare. Warp Prism going to make its way into the third expansion. With a couple of Zealots. Does ViBE have anything there to deal with it? Not
really anything. Might want to wipe in. He's going to wipe in units in the main base instead. And ViBE is so out of control. I'm not sure if I like this by ViBE right now. He might actually end up losing a ton of units, which he maybe can afford, but still, this could turn out ugly as well.
Nice multi-pronged aggression by MaNa, warping into the main base.
A lot of sentries over here, man. I don't know if this is a good idea.
Oh, good force fields, and ViBE's going to be forced to disengage there. MaNa, this Zealot harass is doing a lot. Oh my God! If he kills the hive, drones are going to be pulled, and oh my God, the hive's going to die. There's no way.
I think so as well. There's no transfuse. There are no queens. The roaches start streaming in right now, but these Zealots have so much DPS.
No brood lords, and that's a huge win for MaNa, picking off that hive.
But like I sort of saw this coming. I really thought that ViBE moving out of this with his entire army wasn't a good idea, because he wasn't going to win the game, and just completely ignoring something like that. As I said, 3 Zealots is not a big deal, but it can go out of control.
It becomes 8 Zealots, and then it becomes
a big problem.
Yeah, a huge problem. There's no layer anywhere. That's going to delay the brood lords infinitely. MaNa's going to easily be able to max now.
I mean, ViBE is of course not out of this, and like the opposite is true. He still has more supply. He has 4,500 minerals saved up, so he's still in a good position.
He's still even ahead. Because MaNa still has to deal with the old issue of where the hell does he take a 4th base, which is just kind of Chowdering Altar for him.
Good old question on
easy 3, not so easy to get 4.
And I love this, by the way, that ViBE has a couple of Zerglings on patrol, so he doesn't have to scout it all the time. He's safe. He knows no Ninja Nexus can go up. Small things like that, man, but they matter so extremely much.
MaNa is going to take a Nexus down at 6 o'clock, Kev. We can see it queued up right there, and that Stalker.
I don't think ViBE can do much about it right now. Nice offensive blink here by MaNa, has those +3 Stalkers. And it's starting to get scarier and scarier though, because as I said,
these spines are never going to well, no, MaNa stopped. Big warp in once again in the main base. More great Zealot harassing at the same time. MaNa moving across the center, Kev. It's going to pull the entire army out, and look what he's going to find.
And he's going to take out the
Spire goes down, and look at this. 16 building spine crawlers. How about 0 building spine crawlers? ViBE, I mean, he can afford to lose that kind of.
And now actually MaNa could force field this ramp off as well. It's going to be, this is exactly what he does. Smart move. It's going to be annoying for ViBE to really get in a good position again. He's going to lose his creep.
Making all the right moves, using that Warp Prism. Really, that Warp Prism worth so much more than, how much does it cost? 200 minerals?
Yes.
It is paid for itself in dividends.
Does he have the Warp Prism speed up? I don't even think he has it, right?
I'm pretty sure he does.
Just did, yeah.
I kind of question MaNa's choice not to go deny that 4th base.
I agree.
But he is going to back off, secure a 4th of his own. Which you know, there's justification in that. So
I guess he wants to get better upgrades. He's getting +2 armor right now as well. Yeah. He has to worry a bit about his 4th base. Now he's getting the cannons that he needs, maybe after he has those cannons. I like this, by the way. MaNa often does this, huh? 4 Stalkers somewhere on the map picking up a hedge.
Yep.
Interesting.
And they can blink down to the low ground. Oh, the spine crawlers there.
Like blink. This is like a Mortal Kombat. You know, like when you kicked someone off the plateau, they fell on the spikes.
Finish him.
Yeah. And then you threw him down, and it's like these Stalkers, like, and then here, like.
That's the Stalkers like, my job's this job sucks.
It sucks. Thought he loved me. Send me on a special.
Right now, MaNa is pushing up into the natural of ViBE. ViBE's a little bit out of position.
Man, only 3 Corruptors. This is really like, if MaNa makes good force fields, he could win the game right now.
Yeah, this is that sweet spot position we talked about at the beginning of the game. Colossus push so good in these positions. Infestors do not want to walk forward into that.
Now 7 more Corruptors on the way. I actually think it was only good for ViBE to lose a couple of units over there and those roaches on the left top. Because he needs way more Corruptors. If he flies in with 15 Corruptors, it's actually a very winnable fight. Because Fongo is very good against his army too. But he needs the DPS of those Corruptors.
Yeah, now MaNa got to make his way up into that 4th base. Start working on these spine crawlers.
More Corruptors.
Going to kill a couple Corruptors as they spawn. ViBE has not made the choice to defend this. He's going to counterattack with a lot of roaches, and I don't think that's the right choice.
Yeah, because I think MaNa is just going to ignore those roaches.
MaNa's like, okay, well, I've definitely got the better army now.
Yeah.
I'll just race with you, and I'll win that race.
And eventually, I'm going to be able to take out your roaches. Then again, ViBE actually might be able to take out all the production. MaNa's just going to completely retreat, which I don't think is the worst idea either.
Okay, well, it'll definitely mean he kills all these roaches. Yeah. How much is he going to lose in the process, though?
Not that much.
We'll see. He's definitely going to lose some pylons. Probably going to lose a handful of probes. Might even lose a Nexus, but he is quickly getting back here. He's got a lot of Stalkers in room. 36 Stalkers.
26 drones only left for GoSuVibe, so imagine his army. He has 161 army supply right now.
160 supply army is massive. His money is really like he's running out though, which is actually really bad for him. He's going to be able to rebuild these roaches, but then what? Really?
And then they're going to have a sick fight.
Yeah, then they're going to have a sick fight. But thermal land?
No, it's the observer speed. It's actually pretty smart because he knows he's probably going to have to deal with burrows. Certainly if this turns into a base race, which is not yet because MaNa still has a mining race.
So 5 dipping all the way to 120 supply.
But army supply, okay, he's still quite a bit down.
It makes 8 broods, but Kev, he's broke. He's not going to be able to max out again.
Broke, 5 broke. He ain't got it. You know?
Nope, I don't know what the hell you're trying to say.
From Kanye West, like his college dropout. He's like, we've got an imposter among us. Someone pretending to be broke. It's good.
I'm face palming right now, internet.
Oh, some people out there have listened to the same CD as I have. Kudos.
Man, I'm sad because ViBE played a great game, but he made a couple of decisions that have put him in a very tough spot. He's got Broodlords out. He's got Infestors popping. 17 Broodlords. Ooh, okay.
No, Ben, it's not
okay. 17 Broodlords, and it's going to be 13 Infestors. If there's an army to win with,
oh,
that's
nice fungals.
Beautiful
this actually
fungals.
might be it.
Oh my God, MaNa getting caught. I guess he was on move command or something. Those stalkers getting absolute. Oh, feedbacks, but there's not going to be enough.
Broodlords are so protected.
And ViBE is going to win. He's going to win this fight at least, forcing a huge retreat from MaNa. And another great fungal catches these 2 Colossi. And just like that, at the drop of a hat, ViBE has made this very, very close. 130 supply both ways. Army supply favoring ViBE substantially.
Yeah, MaNa has quite some money though, so he can definitely get another army out. But this is such a scary army. Then again, MaNa has a Dark Shrine as well, and I would love to see him start using a little bit of DTs. How annoying would it be right now?
Roach harass down at 6 o'clock, trying to do a little work on the economy of MaNa, but Cannon's in good position.
9 Archons being wiped in. Actually, not in the best spot, Ben.
Ooh, they are dangerously far forward. Those Broodlords are so slow.
He's guiding fungals.
Look at that warp prism.
Yeah, but these Archons. Dude, Void Ray out. I think Void Ray is so smart.
Oh.
Whoa, Void Ray. If he runs out of energy and he's spawning so many
infestors. Oh, so many infestors. There's a big offensive blink. The question right now is there an... Oh, no, you don't want to move those Broodlords. They have to be fighting. Archons and Stalkers working very well together. Another great blink by MaNa. And it's looking close. Transfusion's going to go down as well, but it's not going to be enough. MaNa going to crush through the army of ViBE. What a series this has been. GG out of ViBE and MaNa. It was closer than I thought it was going to be, but MaNa takes it anyway.
Super, super close series.
Score.
Really, really exciting series. I think both these guys played so well. And there was like no better game ever to describe how important engagements are. You see this one fight where MaNa probably even has a better army than he had right now, and ViBE wins it because he gets those fungals off straight away. And now actually, like in the bottom of the fight, there's not
a fun camera shot.
Yeah, there's not like a. You guys.
Hey guys.
I've got a very important point to make. I played this game.
But look, I get to be in the picture.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No,
it's okay, man.
They normally crop me out of it when Roddy talks.
No. And we can switch back to camera 1. I think it's more comfortable. There you go. But I mean, really, like when there's not a single broodling on the ground, and then the stalkers blink in, and there's no roach support, you can see it's suddenly so much easier to take out those broodlords as it was. But what a great series by ViBE. I really want to give ViBE as many props as possible because I was really blown away by his play, and I actually kind of expected a one-sided series. But hey, that's why I moved to USA. I want to learn more about these guys that I don't know that much about, and ViBE just really, really impressed me.
Great showing from ViBE. I think that's really promising for his future this season in the NASL. MaNa takes the $150, but ViBE looks strong, and when I look at the other people in the group, I'm like, wow, if ViBE plays like that, he could beat anybody in it. Really. Really. I think MaNa's a favorite in this group.
He is. Definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Well, there's Huck as well, but yeah, if you
Huck
play
and
like
Gonzi and Sin, it's a strong group, but I mean, MaNa is a strong player. So either way,
maybe we should take it one step at a time. Let's not put too much pressure on ViBE, but really, he played fantastic.
That game was brought to you guys by GameMinder, the smartphone app that allows you to set reminders and check out cool things like video game releases and NASL broadcasts. Go Google GameMinder because they deserve it.
All right, man.